Yo, it's your boy TTK and welcome back to another Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl video. Today is March the 1st. Now I just come back from the gym, hard workout, and the usage stats finally came out. Unfortunately, unlike you Americans, I have to wait my entire day for this to finally come out. It's probably like 7 or 6 where you Americans are, but for people in Europe, it's like 11 p.m. I'm tired, I want to sleep, but at the same time I have to cover these what do you call it, BDSP stats. So UC stats has finally come out. BDSP still going through accelerated tiering for now since NU just got its ladder. Like it finally got a ladder after the whole month of February. They have a ladder. March we finally have a ladder. Don't know if there's going to be a PU. Highly doubt it. But someone will probably have a PU list and they'll be playing challenge only formats. But either way, guys, we're going to be discussing the BDSP usage stats. Even in the old days of the channel, I used to discuss the stats for Swish matters and Sun and Moon stuff, but obviously this channel is focusing on BDSP, specifically BDSP lower tiers, which a lot of the changes mostly happened because nothing dropped from OU to UU like last month with Empoleon, and nothing rose to OU. So OU is in this state where everyone's just using the same mons, no one's really using anything else like to an extent that they'll rise up. Now, looking at all of this, we're going to start with the rises, of course. The rises are probably the most important thing that affect the main two tiers that I really play, BDSP UU and BDSP RU. Now, Sharpedo, Torkoal, and Uxie have moved up to UU, and that's kind of big for RU, honestly. Like, Sharpedo is one of the best Pokemon in the tier. Potentially suspect test worthy in some people's eyes, but personally, I didn't really see it as a suspect worthy Pokemon. But it was definitely one of the best attackers in the tier by a long shot, and was very hard to handle defensively. Somewhat, like it had its limited checks. It hit very hard. It could run mixed attack and sets. And excuse me, in UU, it does the same thing. Honestly, it just does the same thing. Now, in UU, I would say, is there a better landscape for Sharpedo? I can say yes and I can say no at the same time because, like in UU, again, it's kind of like you have your own specific sort of checks and like Pokemon that's always been used all the time, and Sharpedo does well against a lot of things in UU. You get a protect, you get a one-turn speed boost, you suddenly be able to beat something like Scarf Rotom Heat, for example, as long as you're like a speed like positive. You can beat like Bronzong. Like you have very good matchups against a lot of the tier, obviously. Even something like Ambipom, just protect on the fake out and just kill it. Something like Arcanine drops as well, and yeah, it's just a very strong Pokemon. Like it's not top tier, like it's definitely has its issues, like being revenge killed very easily. Like E-Speed from Entei, I'm pretty sure just Oko's it after rocks. There are some bulky Pokemon in UU that can definitely take one hit, and then Sharpedo has 0 bulk, so like it's balanced in that regard that it can hit a lot of offense pretty hard, but at the same time defensive teams have answers for Sharpedo, obviously. Torkoal, of course, is no brainer. Sun is pretty strong in UU, and Torkoal's the main Sun setter. Obviously, Sun got banned in RU, and obviously, if Torkoal didn't get used a bit more, it would have just dropped to NU. Like, if you look at the stats for RU, Torkoal literally got 0.1% usage. Like, do you know how low that is? No one was using Torkoal after Drought got banned in RU, and now obviously UU was being used a lot, so it just rose. And Uxie, I'll say Uxie is the biggest rise in my opinion, because Uxie was definitely one of RU's best defensive Pokemon. Like you have such good defensive stats, and you can just take hits. Like it's a shame that Uxie's gone, because I like using Uxie a lot on my Volt turn teams, because you can get a rocks, you can have U-turn. It was just a very good support Pokemon in the tier. Now, to find my Uxie replacement, obviously you can look at the same tier in RU and just click Mesprit, but obviously Mesprit has less bulk than Uxie. Uxie versus Mesprit, like they're very similar in terms of defensive stats. You have 75, 130 on each of the defenses versus 80 and 105 on both defenses. Now, Uxie is obviously a lot more bulkier, and you're going to be noticing that if you want to try and use the two the same sort of way. But the one thing that Mesprit has over Uxie is Healing Wish, and Healing Wish is a pretty good move especially when you wanna. Where's Healing Wish? Yeah, there is. Yeah, Healing Wish. That's a big one that you see run, because you wouldn't really run Memento unless you're running like a dual screen set or something of the sort. But you know, it'll usually be rocks on defensive Uchi, of course. Rocks, U-turn, Psychic, and either Energy Ball, T-Wave, whatever, you know. But Mesprit here actually has a Healing Wish option, which can obviously help out a lot of Pokemon that get offensive threats that get chipped over time, like X-Cloud, which probably will get suspect tested somewhere down the line. Just a little, like, you know, hint or something. But you know, other mons that take hits over the game that aren't exactly the most bulky, but they can take a hit, you know, swap out, and then Mesprit can heal and wish them back. And obviously, like, sure, you'll probably still want something like Energy Ball, like if you really just hate Rhyperior or your team doesn't really like Rhyperior too much. But you know, Healing Wish is probably going to be that last slot if you're deciding to go Rock, Psychic, you know, U-turn, that sort of stuff, and then Colbur Berry, for example, leftover. Now, in terms of the drops, there are more drops, of course. You know, oh, I forgot to, yeah, everything else is dropped. So Frostlass to RU, I'm happy about that. Frostlass is back where it belongs, because I can run my Spikes team again in RU. Like, this team, where is it? This team here, legendary team. Like, this team, not, oh wait, Sharpedo's dead. No, Sharpedo's gone. No, bro. No, that is actually so bad. Alright, I finished crying about Sharpedo being gone, but yeah, this team is legendary now that Frostlass is back. Now, the other drops that we have to talk about, no, there's more rises actually. I'm completely idiotic. More rises. So, NU to RU, Captain, Hitmonchan, and Weezing. Now, am I surprised about these three rising? Hitmonchan, definitely. Like, definitely Hitmonchan, because I didn't see a single Hitmonchan in RU. Again, you have the other two Hitmontop being a ladder favor, and Hitmonchan underrated fighting physical attacker in a tier where the competition is hefty. Hitmonchan was just kind of in the middle, you know, like, don't have the physically defensive bulk that Hitmontop has, plus Intimidate, nor do you have the attacking power and speed of Hitmonlee. You're just kind of in the middle. So again, I'm really confused why this thing are you, but you know, the ladder's bad, so I can't really say anything about that. Weezing, on the other hand, again, I feel like Weezing is a sort of thing where it works on like balance and stall type of builds. Like, I've only seen Weezing realistically in UU to counter Heracross or neutralizing gas, but again, I suppose something like Zangoose, which decently gets used in RU, to be honest. I still use Zangoose. Even something like Swallow, for example. You know, I think Weezing has its use, but again, like, you saw, like, there's only specific mons that I use in RU. Like, Weezing, I don't know, Weezing doesn't appeal to me, but for, you know, players that like to build more defensively, it's definitely a decent option. And Cacturn, the last one, the rise to RU. Again, like, Cacturn was a good, decent spiker. I'll say decent, not good. A decent spike in NU, to be honest, from the games I played. But RU kind of took it, and I can't really say Cacturn is going to stay RU for long, personally. Like, it's still slow, it still has no bulk, it still doesn't threaten anything realistically in the tier. Like, look at, like, the best, like, attackers in the tier, like, you know, the Fightings. What does Cacturn do to the Fighting? Sucker Punch, like, not even doing that much damage. I don't know. Spikes, I mean, Frostlass is back now. Maybe people were using Cacturn a lot because we don't have Frostlass, but now that both of them are in the tier, I don't see Cacturn really doing anything notable. But you know, it exists. It exists. And the last drops, Aerodactyl and Ninetales. I don't think I really have to talk about Ninetales and why it dropped. Like, literally, Drought is banned in RU. You look at the stats. I can't spell. Look at it, like, still, again, that's actually better than total. 3.1% usage, despite the fact that you don't have Drought. I guess that might have been in, like, the first couple of days, but even again, that's still too high for one like Ninetales, which really doesn't achieve anything about Drought. And Aerodactyl, ever since it dropped from OU, has just been dropping each tier. Like, unfortunately, as much as Aerodactyl's stats on paper, like look strong for a lower tier, especially one as not as power crept as BDSP tiers, 105 attack and 130 base speed. It just doesn't threaten anything. Like any sort of RU team has a way of dealing with this Pokemon defensively and offensively. Like whether it's a Scarfer that can take advantage of the fact it has no bulk, take advantage of the fact that it has a Rocks weakness, and defensive teams, like the amount of Pokemon that can switch into Aerodactyl and RU is ridiculous. Claydol, Cradily, Gastrodon, Uxie to a certain physically defensive Uxie definitely switches into that one. Rhyperior, like you don't care about Aerodactyl unless it's banded. And that's only if you're like 0 HP Rhyperior. If you're max HP Rhyperior, you do not care about Aerodactyl's existence. Sableye threatens it as well. Even Slowking, if you're banded, you definitely get 2 cured, but like something like Slowking can just switch in. Steelix especially, like Earthquake doesn't do anything to you. And yeah, like a lot of good Pokemon switch into Aerodactyl and it just doesn't really get anything going. There's just a lot more better physical attackers in the tier that can break common defensive calls a lot easier than Aerodactyl. So that's why I dropped. But in terms of NU, how NU is going to react to Ninetales dropping, I feel like Ninetales will have a decent nation NU, to be honest. It's a nasty plot in fire type. It can actually beat something like Lantern and rock types because of Energy Ball, which is pretty big personally. Like this is all you need really. Like grass fire coverage is pretty strong. If you look at the resistant NU, grass, resist fire, NU, like only other fire types realistically switch in NU, and like these aren't like Magmortar's fairly common. Zard, I don't think I've ever seen anyone really use Zard that much. Rapidash is like again, like the ones that switch in aren't really that common. Like Altaria again is just kind of mid, so like you just get away running Energy Ball plus Fire Blast and you're decently threatening, you know, so that's pretty cool. And Aerodactyl, if you look at the speed tail of NU, like Aerodactyl is now the fastest viable Pokemon, and I'm not counting Ninjask and Electro, those ones are not viable. So being faster than Sceptile is big. Actually having a strong, you know, attack stat is pretty big, and you don't have ground and rock behemoths in RU like Rhyperior and Gastrodon in this tier. Like a lot of things are like pretty tame in this tier, so like Edgequake combination is even more threatening, especially if you run Life Orb or Banded. Like how many Pokemon in NU actually realistically switch into you know, Aerodactyl, apart from like Regirock, for example. And Regirock just kind of, you know, yeah, Regirock is just the physically defensive mon that can just switch into everything. So yeah, I think Aerodactyl is going to be a top tier mon in the tier for sure. A normal check to a certain extent, you know, might as well make use of its resistances to normal, despite the fact you have no bulk. But yeah, just being able to hit a lot in the tier. Realistically, only having Regirock as a switch in like that is pretty big in my opinion. But yeah, that is it for the BDSP you know, usage stats, to be honest. You know, I could make a prediction of what's dropping in like each tier, but like seeing something like Empoleon, for example, UU, which just dropped in February, being at like 4.7% usage, like this could definitely drop to RU, you know, next month. Ditto especially, Ditto is just getting lower and lower in usage. Why isn't like UU giving up Magneton? Please give up Magneton, give up Zapdos, and give up like Ditto and Empoleon, and I'll be happy. That's all I really have to say on the matter. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. I'll see if this can come out like March. I doubt it. Like, is the time's gonna like for me to render and upload? It'll take a bit long, but you know, this video will be out as soon as possible anyway. But yeah, thanks for watching this, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.